Hi, I'm Jeff Murrah. I want to welcome you to Healthy Marriage Tips, where today we are dealing with the question of yelling. Is it all that bad? You know, a lot of times when we get angry or our spouse gets angry, yelling is one of the options people resort to, thinking that, it's better than some of the other options. Well, that doesn't make it safe and it doesn't make it healthy. Because the more you raise your voice around your family, it also raises the tension level in the home. And when the tension level is high, the potential for further conflict is much greater too. So with more yelling, there's going to be more conflict, not less. I mean, you may raise your voice as a way to get people's attention and try to tell them to calm down, but it actually starts having the opposite effect and gets things riled up more. Yelling also causes pain. You may think of it gets rid of your pain, but at the same time, it also inflicts pain on the other person. And that's not a good thing, especially, if it's your kids. Because, in doing so, research is finding more and more that there are long-term effects from parents yelling at the kids all the time. You may assume because the kid looks the same and maybe they're behaving a little better that there has been no effect, but you're misleading yourself. Now, what are some of these effects? Well, some of the effects, one, yelling changes your mind. It literally rewires your mind. And once you start resorting to yelling as a way of dealing with problems, the problem-solving part of your brain gets lazy and doesn't want to work anymore. So you find yourself relying on yelling again and again and again. Yelling also, for both the one yelling and the one being yelled at, releases more of the stress hormone, cortisol, that goes ahead and inflicts a lot of damage on your system. It's one thing if you're in an emergency and you need the stress hormone, but if you're not in an emergency, that stress hormone leads to many problems. Now, one of the other areas that's also affected by yelling is your heart. Cardiac health and yelling. Researchers are finding a connection between the two. Yelling is bad for your heart. If you're going around eating all this heart-healthy stuff, yet continuing to yell, that heart-healthy diet's not going to do you any good. Now, I don't think it's by accident that you find, a lot of heart problems and the intense anger with the yelling going hand in hand. There's a correlation there. Of course, which comes first, the irritation and the yelling or the heart problems. I don't know. But I do know that there is a correlation. So in answer to the question, is yelling all that bad? Yes, there are better ways of dealing with conflict than resorting to yelling. Or resorting to violence or resorting to threats or any of those other things. There is always a better way. And I encourage you to consider those other options rather than going ahead and considering yelling. And on a future episode, I'll go ahead and talk about what you can do rather than yell, but I needed to go ahead and touch on the dangers of yelling. It is not this safe way of releasing anger that some people think it is. So that's the healthy tip for the day, and glad you tuned in. And if you have any questions, concerns, please leave them below. I'll be glad to get to them. And until next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you best regards. Goodbye.